What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again with another Man City video, where today we're going to be doing my reaction to Man City's disappointing 2-2 draw away from home against AS Monaco in the Champions League. Before I do crack on with this video, I'd say a big thank you to today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. SofaScore is an app that's going to keep you guys up to date with all the latest football scores, along with the latest match information, lineups, and so much more. Not just limited to football scores and information, it's got you guys covered for all the sports that you want to follow, all in one place, all in one app. It's a free app to download, very highly rated and worthwhile checking out, and anyone that does download SofaScore's app using my link in the description or the QR code on screen does help to support the future content created here on my channel. So my thoughts then for this game. I thought Manchester City, there's some positives that I took away from this game. In particular, Phil Foden's ability to drop deep. He looked very comfortable on the ball. I thought he had a pretty good game as far as I'm concerned. The link-up play on the right-hand side, in particular in the first half with the likes of Foden, Bernardo and Reijnders, I digged it. I liked it. It looked sharp. It looked good from Man City. We were creating opportunities. You know, Monaco are a very good team. I don't want anyone to be underestimating how good of a team AS Monaco are. They're a real good team. To qualify from Liga 1 to get into the Champions League, you know, they're a pretty young team full of energy and lots of points to prove. And to go away from home to be able to beat Monaco isn't an easy thing to do at all. You've got to be right on top of your game. It's got to be a 10 out of 10 kind of performance to make it happen. And I reckon, you know, for the most part, I thought City played a good game, and I thought we did enough to win this game. In fact, I'm certain that we did enough to win this game. That's why I'm so disappointed, because, you know, I felt like this was a game that City should have won. The 3 points were there for Manchester City to take. We just didn't take our opportunities to make it happen. And I said on my live stream, and I'm going to stick with what I said on the live stream, which is I fancy that Monaco, in terms of what they're going to try and do, is they're going to try and score goals. I fancy that Monaco are always going to score at least a goal or two. So if Man City are going to score a couple of goals, if we want to win this game, realistically, we're probably looking at 3 or more. And I probably wouldn't even have sat comfortable even if City had managed to get that 2-goal cushion and made it this game 3-1. I still wouldn't have sat comfortable. I always felt like City needed to have clear daylight between us and our opponents, and I feel like that's when Man City are at their very best, when they've got that clear daylight. It's just our ability to get there, because defensively I just don't think we're anywhere near as strong as what we've been in other successful seasons that we've had, and I don't think there'd be many people that would argue against it. I don't think there's too much City could have done about the first goal, other than maybe track the runner and close down a little quicker. Giving a player ample of space and inviting them to shoot from 30 yards is always, you know, just a bit of a tempt to them. It was a well-taken goal, and for me, that was more about a real good finish from Teze rather than bad defending from Manchester City. But it was a bit disappointing to see Monaco not do very much. I expected goal rate at half-time at 0.03, yet still came away with a goal. And, you know, Manchester City had to keep huffing and puffing right up until near enough half-time to be able to find their second goal that they were looking for. And obviously the first goal that came about, just a simple ball forward from Josko Gvardiol and a well-taken goal from Erling Haaland. A bit of poor positioning, I thought, from their keeper, but he more than made up for that in this game, because he pulled off ampfuls of saves, because Man City had numerous opportunities, loads of opportunities to kill this game off, and they never did so. You know, the City were getting shots on target. They were asking the questions of the keeper, but the shots that they were putting in weren't fantastic efforts. And when they were finally beating the keeper, they were not finding a way to keep the shots down. And seeing Phil Foden and Tijjani Reijnders, both with very scoreable opportunities, hitting the crossbar, makes this point that we've picked up even more disappointing. A good header for Man City's second goal just before half-time from Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland scoring a brace. I thought Man City's distribution pretty good. Created some opportunities, and I thought first half looked much better than they did in the second half. In the second half, I felt like once Doku had gone off and Rodri had gone off, it kind of took the sting away from City, and we were just kind of trying to coast towards full time. And I do say at these early stages in the first half of the season, the games are so difficult because you've just just got to basically stick with a game. You've got to be able to, in particular against good teams like Monaco away from home, you've got to have the ability that sometimes you don't have to score 3 or 4 goals to win a game. Sometimes you just need to score a goal or two and see out a team. And Man City's defensive ability to see out teams just hasn't been very good. I mean, the best that I've seen defensively from City, probably in the game against Arsenal, but still, Arsenal still managed to come about, albeit late on, but still managed to find a goal. And at the moment, defensively, we're not quite on it. And Monaco had some good opportunities in the second half, and I think I'd probably sit here if one of the opportunities that they had earlier in the second half had gone in. I wouldn't have been as disappointed as I am right now, because I feel like we've been robbed a little bit coming out of AS Monaco and how that equaliser right towards the end of the game had come about, because in the build-up to the penalty being given, there was a foul committed. I think it was by Nico Gonzalez. Minimal contact. Didn't think it was a free kick. It was a really weak free kick, and I thought it was equally as weak of a claim for a penalty. What I found really interesting was the referee chose to give a free kick but didn't choose to give the penalty, and I think that's the crucial bit here that disappoints me more than anything else, because I look towards VAR. It's VAR that's given the decision for a penalty kick rather than the referee. The referee has agreed with VAR once he's looked at the screen, which is disappointing again, because yeah, Nico G puts his foot up in the air. You're running the risk of a high boot, regardless of whether you win the ball or not. If the boot is judged to be deemed as high, then the penalty is going to get given. The referees took some time to think about it, and if he's given the decision for a high boot, then the referee should just look at the screen once and just go, yeah, that's a high boot penalty. He doesn't. He watches it numerous times to see, does he win the ball or does he not win the ball? Well, you'll see from the replays in slow motion that Nico G does win the ball. And that makes that even more disappointing, because for me, I feel like if a penalty had been given for a high foot, I don't think VAR would have overturned the decision, and I would have probably sat here and said, I'm really disappointed with that decision. I don't think it's a penalty, and I think it's stupid of Nico G to put his foot up there in the first place to run the risk of a penalty being given so late in the game. However, I'm looking at this. The referee in real time has deemed it not a penalty. He's not deemed it a high foot. And then we've gone to VAR. In the Premier League, the referee's made to explain themselves. In the Champions League, they're not. The referee's watched numerous replays. It's taken 4 minutes to come to a decision. It's Man City been very frustrated by this. Saw a couple of red cards showed to people on the bench. I'm still waiting for clarification on who them people were that were shown the red card before eventually 4 minutes later we come about that penalty has been given to AS Monaco. And for me, I just didn't think it was a penalty. I know there's other people out there who do think it's a penalty, and that's your opinion. In my opinion, I try and be as unbiased as I can, and anyone that's a regular watcher of my content knows that I try and be as unbiased as I can. And if I think it's a penalty, then I'd say I think that it's a penalty. And I like to think of things, if it was at the other end, what would I be thinking? Would I be thinking, right, well, is that a penalty on Manchester City? I'd be looking at it, and if we got given a penalty, I'd say, I think we've got away with one there, because I think that's a really weak claim for a penalty. And to drop points on a weak claim for a penalty, it's just a bit of a sucker punch. It stings, it hurts, because I'd rather have Monaco just gone out and earned the equaliser. You know, I'd rather one of the shots that they had, when I can't remember who it was who had the shot, but Donnarumma pulled off an incredible low-down save. I'd rather that had just gone in and they'd found the equaliser that way, because I could have just said that we've not played well enough in the second half. We'll come away with a point. It is what it is, and we move on. But with this, I thought we played well. I feel like our fatal error is not so much conceding, but more that we didn't kill this game off, that we had the opportunities, and that's where the errors are. Hitting the crossbar, Phil Foden, Tijjani Reijnders. We should have been finding the back of the net. We haven't found the back of the net. It wasn't a good performance in the second half. And with a 1-goal cushion, you leave yourselves vulnerable to potential dodgy decisions or potential fatal mistakes being made, in particular towards the end of the game. And once again, just asking some question marks that whilst I sit here disappointed, I also think defensively were not that brilliant, and that's something that we really need to improve upon by the time it comes to the second half of the season. If we want to see some success from this season and you want to win the big trophies, you need to be able to grind out and see out wins against good teams, like when you're 2-1 up in a Champions League game with 10 minutes to go, an away game against AS Monaco, where you can pick up a really big 3 points, because 6 points from 2 games would have put Man City in a really good really strong position. We're still in a pretty good position. It's just now I feel like we need to follow this up with some wins. We've picked up a good win against Napoli. We've got a draw away against AS Monaco. It's not the end of the world. We need to now, in our next game against Villarreal, go to Spain and pick up a result. Ideally, I want us to go to Spain and pick up a win. Picking up a win away from home against any Champions League team isn't easy. Villarreal are no mugs. They're a good team, and it's going to take what we've needed in this game, a 10 out of 10 performance, to be able to pick up these big 3 points in the Champions League. And there's stuff that's encouraged me in this game. Man City creating opportunities, scoring goals, that encourages me. Defensively, we need to be a bit stronger. We do need to be a bit smarter, and quite frankly, I feel like the Champions League needs better officials, because I thought some of the decisions that were made I didn't agree with, and that's for both sides, not just a penalty, but you know, every time an arm went up in the air, the whistle was blown, a free kick was given. It really just takes the momentum away from the game, and it were very much, I felt like, from the officials and the referee, a me show. It's all about me, to get everyone speaking, and I'm the talking point. And for me, you know, you want football, you know, the best football games and the best referees that you have are the games where you don't notice that there is actually a referee on the pitch officiating the game. And for me, all the talking points here are about the referee, and it's disappointing. So, you know, we've picked up a point. It's not the end of the world. We've got to take that momentum forward and see if we can beat Brentford in our next game in the Premier League and move forward from there. Got a big Champions League game coming up after the international breakaway against Villarreal. As I keep saying, take things one game at a time, persevere, and see where we stand. At the moment, 4 points from 2 games, not a disaster. We've got a platform to build on. We've now got to build on that, and we've got to get over the disappointment of conceding another late goal here and pick ourselves up and try and pick up a big 3 points against Brentford, which isn't going to be easy. Lots of away games for Man City in October, and away games can be very complicated. So if we're putting ourselves in a position to win games and be in the lead in these away games, you've got to find ways to score more goals, double your lead, get them killer 2-goal cushions. And if they're not going to come about, you've defensively got to be really strong and stick with it to be able to pick up the big 3 points against the good teams away from home. Lessons to be learned. Disappointing. Referees taking all the talking points. I don't like it. I've had my moan and complain. We've got our points. Not the end of the world. We move on to the next one. They're my thoughts, guys. Please do get your thoughts in the comments below. What's gone right, what's gone wrong from this game. Do let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget as well to leave a thumbs up on today's video. Just let me know that you are enjoying the videos. Do subscribe if you're new around here. It is free to subscribe. I'm going to keep you guys up to date with all the latest City content here on YouTube, so don't forget to subscribe. Social media links there in the description as well if you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. And finally, do go and check out today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by SofaScore. I'll see you all again real soon for the next City video. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.